Day 22, and it's another chilly start to the day. I've already been riled up by some really poor, dangerous Italian driving, and so my plan on the route was basically to look for the nearest border, because the longer I stay here, the greater my chance of being killed. So already I'm going to start heading north into Lake Country in the hope of trying to get on some quieter roads, but they're not easy to find. It's incredibly busy around here. It's been a pretty frustrating morning, to be honest. I've deviated pretty much as far north as I can go just to try and get away from some of this traffic. In spite of that, it's been shocking, absolutely shocking driving. Lucky to still have my life. And it seems almost impossible to escape from the chaos, which I think it must be because it's so close to Milan. Maybe it's in the commuter belt, I don't know. But it's just so busy, it's so well developed, that, to be honest, I'm just trying to get the hell out of here today. And the way I plan to do that is via Como, via a fairly tortuous route, trying to stay off the main roads, and then up to a place called Bellagio, where my sources suggest there's a ferry. If I can get on the ferry today from Bellagio and hopefully get that lakeside camp and swim that I missed yesterday, then I'll be a happy man. Well, there had been talk of a rest day, firstly in Briançon and then later in Turin, but neither of those really happened. I don't know why not, but I think the appetite for mileage was too great, and now I've sort of got Graz in my sights, which is maybe a week away. The halfway stage, at least psychologically, of the expedition, and really see no reason to stop before then, I don't think. I think this morning's irritability is maybe a sign of a lack of rest, perhaps. So did actually get an early stop in for a cafe latte just down by the lago, which was very nice. Although, in fact, I'll put a picture up now of, I think this picture is representative of the lakes in general. It's a lovely view, incredible natural beauty, and then just a massive big man-made blot sort of right in the middle of it with that big sort of tower type thing. Sums it up pretty well, I think. I also didn't have quite enough water last night, so I didn't have enough for coffee this morning, and I ate the last waffle after my ravioli and tomato sauce, so should have known better than to start the day without coffee and waffles. But it's exactly what the day needed: value pastries and chocolate waffles. Come on! For the first time last night, I was actually discovered in my camping spot. Big 4x4 drove into the field. I didn't even think you could get a car in there, and shone his headlight straight into my tent for maybe 30 seconds while I sat there thinking, what's he going to do? And then he disappeared. Then he did it again, and then he disappeared. Then he did it again, and then he shouted something in Italian, which I didn't understand. So I said, "Non comprendo ingleso," or words to that effect, which obviously didn't work because he said the same thing again, and then finally disappeared, and there was no further commotion that evening. So I think he was actually looking for his dog. He'd lost his dog, and he was asking me where it was, but of course I was none the wiser. Well, that's a pretty big climb to bypass Varese, but vistas well earned. Well, it's the football pitch of Bellagio for lunch and tent drying today. Absolutely ideal use of the golf frame. Well, if it was still in the sun, absolutely, but a little bit late in the day, unfortunately. You can see why it's so popular with the Italiano, so you can maybe forgive them slightly for the busy roads. cannot stress quite enough how poor the Italian driving is, and so that I made it to Lake Como at all is a complete miracle. So I stopped and celebrated this fact with a beer media, a medium beer, 50cl, on the terrace in the last of the afternoon sun, and got a little bit boozed actually, and I'm now heading up the coast towards the ferry. I'm going to try and pop the tent somewhere and then probably get the 7:15 boat the next morning, I think. Too easy. It's a shame to see only a small number of these terraces being occupied. I would be willing to do so for a small fee. I fear the sum required would be beyond the budget. Absolutely no place for a tentio as far as I can see there. Oh, no need for le tentio tonight. I decided to roll on because the underground parking just wasn't really quite up to my usual standards, so cooked up the big feed and heading for Bellagio. It's about 15k. Oh, even at this late hour you still got to look out for the motorists. Day 23, and my hard work searching paid off last night. I had a fantastic lago side camp. Didn't get my swim in, but I think that'll be maybe something for later today. It was quite warm and breezy, so slept really well. It's 7 o'clock now, and I'm heading okay along the road just to get the 7:15 ferry from Bellagio to Verona on the east side of Lake Como. Vintage touring alongside the lago this morning. Pan flat, mountain vistas, still the occasional bit of rogue Italian driving. Well, we're right into week 4 of the tour, and I was reflecting on the fact that I think after 3 weeks things have really started to come together and just to sort of flow through the day. I seem to think a lot less about where I'm going to get food or where I'm going to camp. It just sort of happens, and it's really quite nice. The prime opportunity for a dip, but it's very, very cold. Well, it's looking like there's going to be a sendero all the way up the Valatina to a place called Sondico, 40 k's away. I'm slightly embarrassed to say that my last opportunity to dip in the Lago di Como has been spurned. However, have a look at this. Hard to beat, dreamy tearing. After the chaos of the Italian lakes, it really is hard to put into words quite how splendid this cycle path is. Splendid, I tell you! Great opportunity here to get the chain clean with a bit of water on tap, and the Italians have surpassed themselves here. 3 watts for the phone. Look at that! Lovely idea, but didn't work. You sort of get used to the squeaks and rattles of a dirty drivetrain, and then when you finally get round to cleaning it and lubricating it, it's really quite nice. I think it probably takes about 3 weeks to sort of completely tune out of the sort of everyday rattle-tattle of the news and the admin and the routine, and once you're beyond that, it's just carefree touring. It really is. Too easy. One of the downsides of touring in November is the sun's that much lower in the sky, and so you constantly find yourself chasing it. And I must have lost it probably half an hour ago now. Not to be seen again until tomorrow, I fear. It's really only so long a man can potter along a flat cycle path before he needs to go up over at Col again. It's about 5 o'clock. You can see the sun on the peaks just behind me there, and I've sat very carefully and considered my route choices here, and I'm going to go for the triple Col. 3,000 metres of climbing, 3 cols, and I've been thinking that if I can get over the first col tonight, then with a mega day tomorrow, 130k, 2,500 metres of climbing, I can get to Bolzano, which sets me up for Graz in 5 days. Last night was absolutely spectacular, so more than happy to do that again and scrabble for a camp spot a bit later. I think I'm popping out pretty shortly. This is a ski resort in winter, and that big light in the sky is the full moon. Nothing better than spinning up a col by the light of the moon. Brilliant. I've restocked in the valley, but there's a bloody super mercato up here on the Col.